It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, it's Geno Jones Showtime. What's happening, everybody? I hope you had a great weekend. I'm coming to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Okay, I know, so for all the fashion police, y'all can kick rocks and go to hell. Yes, turtleneck is a little, because I've been just doing a lot today, so it's not crispy, crispy tight, but I'm still fly. I'm still fly. I'm like Ronald Isley at 81, baby. I am fly all the way past the sky. So, coming to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out in Los Angeles. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Subscribe, share, like, and binge watch all my back episodes. Listen, I just want to thank everybody. Shout out to YouTube. So they give, every year they kind of give me like a year in review. So tomorrow, I'm going to dedicate most of, it's going to be like a big thank you show. So I'm going to give you, but the numbers, the show has grown dramatically. Just the numbers in terms of the total amount of minutes that you all have viewed is like nearly 50,000. It's just, I'll give you all those numbers tomorrow. All the tens of thousands of live streams. It's just incredible. So I'm really humbled. I truly, truly am. And just thank you to all of you all. God bless each and every one of you, and God most of all. Just thank you for just the Geno Jones Show second year anniversary way back in November, beginning of November. In 2 years, this show has gone from like zero to incredible growth. So let's kick it off. Janet Jackson. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, yes, together again. That is the name of Janet Jackson's upcoming world tour. I know she's going to start off here in America. You know, Janet is global. So Janet's going to be going all around the globe. And guess who's going to be on the show? Her, like, feature, I won't say opening act, but on the same show. My man, Luda, Chris Bridges, repping the ATL, really actually repping Oak Park, Illinois, which is a west side suburb of Chicago, but he don't claim that at all. But I ain't mad at him. Luda, man, I saw you, boy, you spit a freestyle, I believe, a freestyle that you posted up on Instagram. Let them know, Luda, you still in the house. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted because of the books and the movies and all the other stuff you doing and you know, husband and dad. You still got that fire when it comes to them bars. So I had to give you your props there. So Janet Jackson, Together Again, is coming to a city near you, hopefully. As a matter of fact, tickets officially go on sale Friday. But I guess if you are like a city card, if you got a city card or a city card member, which I'm not, they got like a pre-sale going on. So I would suggest that you just go to Janet Jackson's website, her Instagram page. Trust me, you'll find the tickets. But get your money right. Because you know them folks, you know what I'm talking about. You know them folks don't mess around. We be messing around and trying to get a check advance loan and all. Hey, and Christmas is 13 days, so money's tight. You got toys you got to get out the layaway, and you know, mama needs some new shoes or a new car, and big mama need a new TV. I understand, but I'm just letting you know. It's going to be an incredible show. Janet Jackson. And I know, I am certain she's going to have to add more dates. Because she's not doing every city. She's going to be in Atlanta. Because I didn't even see Chicago. There's no way Janet Jackson can go on tour and not go to Chicago. I think she's got one day in New York. I think I saw Atlanta. But anyway, so just I would say go to Janet's website. But tickets will go on sale. I think that's a Live Nation show. Just search Janet Jackson ticket sales. It'll pop up. I promise you it will. So the tour is going to start April 14th, which is like the day before tax deadline day in Hollywood, Florida. That's really Miami. It's kind of like on the north side of Miami. So you got Miami, you got South Beach, which is right there on the ocean, and out not that far, well, on the side, kind of on the side with, well, they got two airports, actually. So anyway, Hollywood, Florida is part of the Miami Metro. As a matter of fact, right there, it's going to be in that Hard Rock Giant Hotel, right around where the Dolphins play, because they got the football stadium that the Miami Dolphins play in. No, they didn't play there last night. They were in Los Angeles and lost to the Chargers. I digress. But so the tour is going to start April 14th in Hollywood, Florida. Janet Jackson. And on my birthday, she's going to be in Atlantic City, New Jersey on my birthday in May. And I don't gamble, but I don't know. We're going to have to talk about that, Janet. That's, yeah, baby. Oh, by the way, this tour, Janet Jackson, Together Again, is celebrating Janet 50 years in the entertainment business. Remember, she was Little Penny on Good Times. She was like 9 or 10. So Janet's been doing her thing for a long time, celebrating 50 years in the entertainment industry. You do not want to miss that, not at all. 2023 is going to be a big year for concerts. New Edition, they've already announced that they're going to be going on tour with all 6 members. Yes, Bobby Brown, Bobby, Ronnie, Ricky, Mike, Johnny, Ralph, the whole crew. So you can just go to their website, just Google search New Edition Tour. And one of my favorite, one of the baddest bands that I've ever seen perform, Tony, with the original lead singer, Raphael Sadiq. Because they had a brother that sounded just like Raphael, but no, Raphael is, I don't know, they didn't work it out. Whatever they had to work out, I'm glad y'all worked it out. Tony, with Raphael Sadiq. Back with Tony. It's going to be on tour. And of course, she hasn't announced the official dates yet. But I'm just telling y'all, Miss Beyonce, yes, the Renaissance Tour. And now you ain't hear from me, I'm not certain. But when Ronald Isley and Ernie were on my show, you know, Ronald Isley, Mr. Big kind of, because you know Ronald Isley and Beyonce got the #1 song that's on the Isley Brothers' new album, Make Me Say It Again, Girl. So they did the duet, Mr. Big and Beyonce. So you can go back and binge watch that episode from about 3.5 weeks ago. He said that because, you know, they know each other. As a matter of fact, Mr. Big reached out to Mama Tina, Mother Tina, Beyonce's mom, and said, hey, Beyonce want to do this song? And so Mama Tina was excited. Beyonce was like, yeah. So on the show, Ron, he didn't go into details, but he said they might be announcing something where they will be doing something with Beyonce in 2023. Now, I don't know about you, but I can kind of connect the dots. So I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't that, man, Beyonce with the Isley Brothers? Oh, man, come on, stop. Shut it down. Janet and Luda, Beyonce, the Isley Brothers, New Edition, Tony, Raphael Sadiq. Man, come on, stop. I don't want to go no more. Happy birthday. Let me shout out my Sagittariuses. Sister Regina Hall. So she's been in The Best Man Holiday. I guess the last Best Man, the Best Man, This Is It. Because they're working on like the final, I guess it's like a trilogy of the best Man. I love both of them. So this is going to be the last one. I don't know. I'm giving y'all a name. The Best Man, This Is It. Wrap it up. We out here. The Best Man is gone. She was also, I loved her in Girls Trip with Queen Latifah. It was Queen Latifah, and you had Jada Pinkett. I don't know if that was before or after the entanglement or whatever that was, and somebody else. But I loved her in that. She's so funny. She was in Love and Basketball. She was in Scary Movie. Regina Hall is 52 today. One of the baddest drummers on the planet, period. Sheila Escovedo. That's her real last name. Her dad, Pete Escovedo, was this legendary percussionist. So he played everything. And so she got all of his DNA on them drums and percussions. Sheila E. is 65 today. So happy 65th birthday, Miss Sheila E. And Auntie Dionne Warwick. Dionne Warwick is 82. Auntie Miss Dionne, happy birthday. My mother's a huge fan. I know she's watching right now. As a matter of fact, let me check. Let me click something for y'all. Here we go. But happy birthday to Auntie Dionne Warwick, 82. And all my Sagittariuses, all my Sagittariuses, they call them Sagittarius or Sagittarius? All my Sagittariuses, how about that? Celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday. So, I'm about to bring up my guest in a little bit, but I got to tell you about it. So, Dave Chappelle, so he did a comedy show out in San Francisco. So, San Francisco is a home of Twitter. Like their corporate world headquarters is in San Francisco. So, now San Francisco is owned by this dude, MAGA member, Elon Musk. Same dude that owns Tesla. So for whatever reason, because I'm a huge Dave Chappelle fan, but Dave, dude, partner, I'm looking at you with the side eye, like, okay, I don't know where you were going with this or what that was all about. So, but anyway, so Dave Chappelle, in the middle of his show, he brings Elon Musk up on stage. They booed Elon Musk's ass out of the building. They booed him straight. You can count it, get a stopwatch. They booed Elon Musk straight for 5 minutes. They booed, they stopped booing, and then they started booing again for another 5 minutes. It was like, because Dave Chappelle being Dave Chappelle, I'm paraphrasing, well, Elon, they're booing you. Some of the people that you fired must be here booing you. Oh, why did Dave say that? Then the boos really got like, boo, boo. And then this arrogant dude gets on Twitter, Elon Musk, and talk about, well, only 90% of the crowd were cheering me on. Only 10% were booing. Dude, either you can't hear or you are delusional. As a matter of fact, you are delusional. That's a fact. It's clear just by your behavior and your tweets, and you probably can't hear either. But no, it was 90% of them, what you heard, your mind must have made you think that the boos were cheers, because 90% of them folks, they was booing you hard. Like how you get booed, like if you went to Showtime at the Apollo back in the day, and you were lousy, the way black folks would boo you at Showtime at the Apollo, like, boo, 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 get your, boo. They booed him like they were at Showtime at the Apollo. It was, you got to see the video. You can find it out for yourself. But now listen, I don't know. I know Dave Chappelle got a lot of money, so I did my homework. Forbes says Dave Chappelle's net worth is like $60 million. That's pretty good, Dave. I'm working on it. As a matter of fact, my guess, she gonna help me get there. But Elon Musk, he in a different neighborhood. Just like you in a different tax bracket than I am, for now, Elon Musk is a whole, let's try 180, according to Forbes today, it changes. Elon Musk is worth $185.3 billion, not million, billion with a B. So that's a whole different, as much money as you got, Dave, that $60 million is tip money when you got $185 billion. Now, that $60 million, what I'm got now might be kind of tip money, like a big tip money to you, but trust, 185 billion. But at the rate that Elon Musk is going, he ain't gonna have that, because he about to bankrupt Twitter and taking all the money from Tesla to try to go ahead and get Twitter together. But I digress. This show is not about Elon Musk. Yes, he was born in South Africa. Yes, his dad is a South African that supported the apartheid government. He was born in 1971, so you can kind of do the math. Apartheid was going full strong. Apartheid didn't end in Africa until 1993. Elon and his daddy and his mama left South Africa, went to Canada in 1988. So, all his like formative years, he got the full apartheid, the South African version of Jim Crow. That's basically what the apartheid government was and apartheid laws. They took America's racism and Jim Crow and gave it a Dutch accent and took it to South Africa. I digress. Speaking of Africa, boy, you good, Geno. Damn, you good. Watch this segue here. Speaking of Africa, this sister has traveled to the motherland, I believe, a couple times. She'll be going back because I wanted to bring her on to dispel. First of all, visiting Africa is one of those things that I am going before. Look, Paris is great. London, I hear, is cool. I ain't really big on the colonizer countries. That's just me talking. I hear Rome and Italy is up, but fascism is blowing up. So I don't know if I want to go from one country where they trying to install fascism to countries where it originated. I don't know, but I digress. But there's a lot of myths. A lot of times, because it's amazing that racism and this whole white nationalist ideology, which is rooted in fear and hate, is global. It's global. And a lot of the images that we have gotten from Africa are rooted in this racism and white nationalism, just like the images that the world gets about black people is rooted and kind of filtered through that racist prism. So there's a lot of myths, they think, Africa, folks running around in loincloths and bones in their nose, and that is the most ignorant thing. The richest continent, you got billionaires, you got folks on the continent of Africa that's got it's a couple that's got some Elon Musk money. Don't get it twisted. There's some there too. Speaking of Africa, sister, she's visited the motherland, so that's definitely on my to-do list. She's an entrepreneur, global businesswoman, like I said, not just here in the U.S., but Africa. Gullah Geechee, native of the Sea Islands of South Carolina. Full disclosure, she's not a friend, she's family. Entrepreneur that works with the Geno Jones Show, and I'm honored to be able to call her not just a business associate, but more than a friend, a family. You see this beautiful black woman on screen. There she is, ladies and gentlemen, Quinetha Frazier. Get the name right, Quinetha.
Oh, and it was perfect, Geno. Thank you very much. I have enjoyed the show, and I'm glad I was on mute because I was over here hollering at most of your updates because they are true. And brother, I will tell you where you landed on the conversation about our brother Elon Musk and his rearing in the apartheid dominant white culture is real. And it's a perfect, place for me to just say hello and begin by saying that everything we probably know about Africa is probably made for TV and not actually the truth. And I know that myself, as you said, I'm very grateful to call myself Geechee. My mama, my daddy, all of their family, as far back as we know, to the early 1800s, have made their home in the Sea Islands. Talking about the Port Royal experiment, St. Helena Island.
Now, and Q, let me just jump in. For those who might be watching, who may not really know what does she mean? What is Geechee? Could we explain it as if we were walking into a hair salon or a barber shop, and we just had to go ahead and put it, as my grandfather and brother Joe Madison on Sirius XM's, put it where the ghosts can get it, or as they used to say on the south side of Chicago, give it to them straight, no chaser. Give them the Bacardi, give them the 151 with no Coke. We ain't cutting it with no Coke, no chaser. Give it to them straight.
I love it. I love it. And thank you, because first and foremost, when you hear Geechee or Gullah, which is a big tag word right now, big, fad word, we're talking about Black people where their ancestors most likely ended up in the Sea Islands of the U.S. by way of the transcontinental slave trade. And we settled. So the Gullah Geechee corridor are the early settlements, like where Black people came. They, if you weren't sold off to some, Midwestern or even other Southern state, those of us that remain, they refer to us as Geechee or Gullah Geechee because of a name of a river. We're not going to get into that. But the fact of the matter is, during the early, most formative times of this country, we were at that time referred to as Black Africans. And I want to start there because one of the things that Dr. Willie Fluker at Tuskegee asked us the very first day of our history class is he put up a map, a globe, a map of, the world, and asked each one of us to get up and point to Africa, America. He said, I want you to go find Africa, America for me. And I didn't understand it then, but now 20 years later, and what we're talking about Geechee and Gullah and our direct connection to Africa is the 100% reason why I refer to myself as a Black American. Because see, African American, which is still, a federally, accepted term, and OMB says is that what we refer to people, you either identify as African or American, right? It's very simple. So the question is, if you identify as being African, what does that even mean? Like when I was growing up, African was like booty scratchers and you're African, make sure you eat all your food because people in Africa are starving, or girl, you Black like an African, or you poor like an African, or girl, you running around outside. So the references that we grew up having as an African person, because remember we say we're African American, were those, in my opinion, that gave us a low self-worth, right? You're tied to something that is bad, poor, not attractive, low resource. Why would you want to go back there? Why would you you should just be American. Now, that's the other side. What does being American mean? For me, being Gullah Geechee, American to me means I identify as a Black African who was born and reared in America. So everything I know about being Black is through my American eye. So when you opened up, Geno, talking about the myths and the images, most Black people have them because that's what we were trained. That's what we watched on TV. Think about even the movies that were about Africa that had all white people. Think about it, like
dressing up with black faces.
Black faces. Yeah. And then even when we begin to tell the story about Black people in this country, where does the story always begin? Slaves, defenseless, oppressed, no power, no opinion, under the thumb. See, those images, in my opinion, is the reason why you can ask 10 Black people, including children, tomorrow if they're ready to go to Africa, and they'll be like, I don't know. Paris sounds cool. Been there. All the European countries, great. Been there. All the Caribbean countries, great. Been there. All the South American countries that you want to go to, Brazil, Fallout, all the beautiful Black people, been there. But there's something unique, Geno, about saying that I'm going to Africa. Yeah. Because remember, I said I was an African American. What do I know about being African? Think about it. What did they tell me? I went to Minnie Hughes, R.D. Schroeder, Baptist Hill. Those are the Blackest schools you can find in Charleston County School District. And then I graduated from St. Andrews. God is good. But I will say I didn't learn anything about being an African in America or even my connectivity to Africa as a child in my academic rearing. It wasn't until I went to Tuskegee University, which is a historically Black college university, that I was exposed to some truths about my true lineage in Africa. Now, I'll take a step back and say my curiosity about Africa was because of a teacher in the 7th grade who said to us as our project that we were going to study international foods, and she gave us Senegal. I was like, where's Senegal? What is that? Why are we eating couscous in our class? The reason why she did it is because she was trying, as a French woman, trying to instill in our minds that y'all are connected to this place called Africa. Like, you might not know where it is, but the food, the rice you eating, the meat you eating, the greens you love to eat, trust me, they're all in Africa. So my curiosity began, Geno, and just to kind of get to the point of why I go so often, it really is because of my great-grandfather. Both of them were rice growers. Why is it? Why do we grow rice? Because in South Carolina, specifically in the Sea Islands, that's why they used to call us, because we grew rice. We were brought here as a workforce to create the largest rice economy that this country's ever known. It was in South Carolina. My grandfather, Jahasi Plantation, was one of those places. That's where and the Aiken families who owned it for a long time. It made them wealthy. Where am I going with this? I know what it is to be American, because I can track down the history as a, Black person American. But I went to Africa for the first time now 7 years ago. And the first country I went to, Senegal. Because that's what it was almost fate that's where I went first. And to be honest, it was culture shock at the highest level. I did not speak French, which is the dominant, all the colonized African countries. And by the way, just for our information, there are 54 African countries. So when people say they're going to Africa, we're not talking about going to America to go to a state. We're talking about going to about 54 Americas. Okay. So even our language, like, what country are you going to in Africa? Right. I went to Senegal. I spent a small amount of time there, and I had culture shock because I couldn't speak the language. I was just watching lips, and it's an Islamic country. So I'm watching all these different things. But guess what? I immediately, and what drove me to keep going back is I felt an instant connectivity to every Black person that walked by, because they looked like all my cousins, my uncle, my Geno. I saw Geno I saw everybody. And I'm thinking, wow, there's a place where everybody looks like me. I came back the second time, Geno, and I visited West Africa again. I went to Ghana. And what I experienced in Ghana was more of a very familial relationship. The brothers actually call you sister walking down the street. They refer to you as sister. And in fact, the Ghanaian government in the US invited us back to the return. Since that time, of course, I started in Ghana a few years back. I've been about 4 times, just, to go and explore what's happening. But I landed in East Africa, in Kenya, with more of a curiosity around business and service. So that, and to be honest, what I've learned, and I know we'll talk about this another day, what I've learned by being physically there is the equivalent to somebody saying, man, I've been to Chicago before, like me. And then you go and drop them off on the South Side at 6:30 and it's about to get dark, and you be like, wait a minute, I don't know where I am. What's happening? I thought I was in this place. So I invite every Black person that enjoys this show and that is of the hearing of my voice. I just encourage you to, first of all, forget everything you know about Africa and have a reintroduction. Not because only it's a great place to travel and have leisure as a vacation, but also we need to go back and we need to see our African descent as an African American, so that we as our children, we as independent Americans can represent that self-worth, that it is that richness, that pride that we have in our skin. We can go to a place and see it in action and relate. So I wish that everyone here, and I take groups for the last 2 years, I've hosted groups of 5 to 7 Black professionals to come and spend 10 to 14 days at a time on vacation, but also for what we call the social impact tour. So we take you around, you meet other Africans who are doing business, who are doing philanthropy, and we connect around real things. So it's a great way to go to Africa, Kenya or Ghana or some other country as an African American, and really not just go as a tourist or as a person that might be afraid for their life, like some people think, but really go as a sister, as a brother, as a friend to Kenyans, to Ghanaians who are doing, living, thriving without white people standing over them, telling them what to do all day, like some of us experience here. It's fun to watch.
Yes, that's a beautiful thing. I know you can speak to it. It's like everyone in power, in law, in finance, in politics, like all the bosses look like me and you.
It's Atlanta on steroids. You take Atlanta, exponentially multiply Atlanta, and that's what you get.
That is
in an African country.
That is a great way to describe it. I've never heard anybody describe it like that, but I haven't gone, but everybody I've talked to. So I got a couple minutes, but first of all, if anyone would like to be a part of taking one of those trips that you were just talking about, give everybody your social media and your contact information.
Yes, please. Go to our website. It's We're the Global Foundation for Education and Economic Mobility. So you'll remember GFEEM, GFEEM.org, GFEEM.org. My name is Quinetha Frazier, but I'm Q Frazier everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, and I love LinkedIn because I'm a nerd. QUE Frazier. Frazier is FRASIER. You can find me if you Google me. But our website is the best way to connect to our social impact tours. They're affordable on purpose. They're 10 to 14 days, so you can have time. But more importantly, it's with us, for us, and it's high luxury travel, which I know everyone loves. So
I love that. I believe, because I talk to people, they talk about there's a spiritual component.
There is.
To when you go home and you realize this is like home for real, like my real ancestors started.
You feel the identity. You feel it's like it's almost as though you left home when you were a child at 7, and then you went away and lived with another family, and then at 18 you came back into that same house, and the second you saw your actual birth father and mother, you go, that's who I look like.
Yes.
That's who I laugh like. That's what it feels like when you go to Africa. No matter which country you go to, that's what you're going to feel.
I love that. And then you also, you can do business, and like you said, social impact, cultural experience, and it's just a beautiful thing. So I would encourage everybody to take advantage of that. And I'm glad I know I got about a minute and a half, but I'm glad you spoke to that spiritual component, because I think that's really so important. And I could imagine, I would love for kids, but this could apply to not just kids, but adults, because we have this whole concept of whiteness, which is really not rooted in skin color, it's rooted in power and economics.
Yes.
And you all seen those episodes. People came up with this so a small handful of people could control the money and power and pit a whole bunch of folks. Because
it's an entire culture. It's an entire, and it's everywhere.
Because when you hear people talk about whiteness, it's like, well, but what were you before you were white? Because before you got here, you were either from Germany, or you were from Eastern Europe, or you were from France, or Italy, or Greece, and then all of a sudden, then this whole whiteness. So people made this up to pit us against each other.
Right.
But just to to go home and just to cut through all the filters,
like you said,
all the BS on the damn Tarzan movies and all the stuff we see on the news. Throw all that foolishness.
The economy,
out the
not true. All the things we're talking about, not true. Everything that we've heard, just assume not true. I'm gonna go see it myself.
There you go. So, Q, thank you. I'm looking forward to this. Matter of fact, you are a regular member of the Geno Jones Show family, because right after the new year, I want you to come back and talk in detail exactly how you put the trips together. In terms of how people, can pay for it. What would you recommend? Because you've gone, tell people.
Yes.
Because I think it would be great to take the entire family. So, and you've got the system, so you can tell everybody exactly, okay, this is how you do it. Financially, this is how you do it. Make sure you got your passport, everything that you need to know to go home to the real home, the motherland.
That's right. And we're gonna take you, and you're gonna feel good about it. And that spiritual connection is not only gonna refresh your soul, it's gonna give you an injection of power. And that power comes from self-identity.
Yes.
Self-identity.
And like she said, just seeing a whole bunch of black folks in charge, black millionaires and billionaires that look like your cousin or your uncle or your mama.
They're everywhere.
Oh man, it's got to make you if y'all think Atlanta's popping, you ain't.
Honey,
Atlanta on steroids.
It's on steroids. Thank you, Geno. I'll see you in January.
Thank you, Q. Thank you so much. Oh man, listen, she is amazing. Her spirit, I'm sure you could just feel it coming through the television. So definitely that is on my to-do list to visit the motherland. And we're going to bring Q back, and she's going to tell you how you can be a part of some of those, the trips that she sets up, her organization sets up with different groups. It's must, you got to do it at least once. And once you do it once, you'll want to go back more and more and more and more. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you and God most of all. Thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. We'll be taking some time off for the holiday in about a week and a half. I'll tell you all about that, but don't worry, because the Geno Jones Show is always here for you 24/7. Like on Netflix or Hulu, you can watch it on demand. You can go back and binge watch all my back episodes. The episode I was telling you about with Ronald Isley and the Isley brothers and so many more. You can go back and binge watch any and every episode over the last 2 years. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check him out on Instagram, Kel B Cutting Up, KELBECUTTINUP. Allie Jones is the drip director of the Geno Jones Show. She is the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check her out on Instagram, LX.NCL _ is a little dash below. L like Lexi, X like extra, N like Nanette, C like Charlie, L like Lexi, LX.NCL _. And Bruce Gage, the official wardrobe and consultant. He's also official wardrobe stylist and consultant for the Geno Jones Show. As a matter of fact, this leather shirt looks like a jacket. It's actually a shirt. You can wear it as a shirt or a jacket. Part of the Mario Uomo collection. Check out the fall winter 22-23 fall winter collection right now. Miglio di Mario Uomo on Instagram. Miglio di Mario Uomo is MIGILIO DIMARIOUOMO. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I love each and every one of you. Shout out to everybody watching me live. Shout out to my mother, my number one fan, my executive producer, Mary Dixon. I appreciate you, mother. I love you more than life itself. I'll talk with you shortly. So, until Tuesday, but in the meantime, go back and binge watch all the episodes you might have missed. Forget Monday Night Football. Make it Monday night, the Monday Night Geno Jones binge watching session. Pop you some popcorn or whatever. You get you some cashews or get you some chips or whatever you want to do. And just kick back, throw in your PJs or your little sweats, and enjoy the show. We'll see you live Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. And until then, as always, be blessed. Let's pray for peace, because we really need it all over the world. Thanks for watching. Once again, thanks to my guest, Quinetha Frazier, Q Frazier. Thanks, Q.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.